To another episode of Yolt Presents Joker's Trick.
We live in a society.
Oh, Joker's Trick. The best podcasts always start with the title.
Yes, we always cue the intro. We have theme song. And we have host's intro. My name is Joke.
My name is
Batman! And I am Lego Idea. I tried to do a Zach Galifianakis. I can't.
You are a toy.
Oh, yeah.
And this is Buzz.
I don't know. You could just do a line from The Hangover or something, too.
My baby is masturbating. Is that what they say?
Yeah, that's good enough.
Immediately demonetized.
From one of our premier Joker filmmakers, so. But we're not talking about Todd Phillips' Joker today. We are talking about
a good movie.
a better movie.
One that is a sequel to not even a Joker movie, but Joker is one of the premier characters in this. You can say it's a love story about the Joker.
It's about family.
It's about family.
And also Daleks are in it.
I don't know what that is. What?
The robot.
British robot. Ask your nerd friends.
Someone's not a real nerd.
Yeah, Jake.
Oh,
Someone doesn't bazinga all the way.
You sex-having employed freak. You don't know what the Daleks from Doctor Who are?
I don't listen to hip-hop, you know. But today we're talking about the Lego Batman movie.
Yay. So Troy and I have some history with this one.
Yeah, so listeners, my history of Lego Batman, senior year, we were all in film school and we all wanted to get internships. I interviewed everywhere because I didn't have an internship the summer before, and I had two offers. One from Atlas Entertainment, which produced Suicide Squad.
What, we some kind of Suicide Squad?
And the other internship offer was from Lynn Pictures, which produced the Lego movie. Whoa! I'm going to go with Lynn Pictures because I really like the Lego movie. And Phil Lord and Chris Miller, once they get back from directing Solo, I'll get to intern for them.
Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are no longer directing the Han Solo spinoff.
Also, there was a slide. They had a slide in the office that went to a secret room.
What was the secret room? What was in there?
It was a Lego study. It was an entire library that looked like Wayne Manor.
Or is that what your mind made up? Was it your happy place when they tortured you?
No. They let you in it twice.
Okay, this is total happy place fantasy. This is not.
Wait, they let you in twice?
Yeah, you were sliding into somewhere else's.
No, they would slide me down and we would watch the first episode of the new Tron cartoon at the time. And then we would all go,
This
that's
sounds horrible.
mediocre. And then I had to go back up and get everyone lunch from Mendocino Farms. I developed quite a taste for Mendocino Farms. Their chicken sandwich, fantastic. Every time I'm in LA now, I'm like, God, I got to get that chicken sandwich from Mendocino Farms.
It is pretty good.
It's really good.
This video is sponsored by Mendocino Farms, by the way.
That would be great. Could we actually?
Let's reach out.
Okay, instead of paying us, you could pay Troy in chicken sandwiches.
Let's just send a picture of me dressed up as Jared Leto Joker and be like, you want to sponsor me?
So they had a Lego room, but they also were working on movies.
Yeah, so I interned as a development assistant, which, as you all know, you read scripts and you do coverage, and they like to hear your opinion. So when I was there were a lot of movies in production. Aladdin was in production, the Disney Aladdin. Lego Ninjago was testing a little horror movie that was kind of a side project, but turned out to be very successful. It, the 2010s It movies were in production. And but the Lego Batman movie was coming out for release. So me and my closest friends got to go see the Lego Batman movie on the Warner Brothers lot as part of the crew screening.
I was also there.
Yeah, so they asked me to pick my two friends.
I'm not one of your closest friends.
So me and Jan and this other guy, we went to go see Lego Batman movie. We said hi to Dan Lin himself. And then I was like, hey guys, let's just walk around the Warner Brothers lot. They just let you do it.
It was sick. Like, I loved going there and, like, wandering around Warner Brothers lot.
Guys, we're not shills. We do love Joker, but I gotta say this. The best lot in Hollywood, I think, has to be the Warner Brothers.
Yeah, we should also disclose this video is sponsored by Warner Discovery. Oh, wait, I'm hearing that our entire podcast is being deleted forever.
Wait, what's that I'm hearing? I'm hearing Warner Discovery has just sold us to Amazon Prime.
Oh, fuck.
Yay!
All right, last episode, guys.
Yeah, we get to premiere alongside Merry Christmas, Batman.
Yeah, or Batman the Cape Crusader. I also got to see, this was in my internship, I also got to see the forbidden marketing for the Lego Batman movie that Warner Brothers did not okay. Dear listeners, you may remember at the time this movie came out, 50 Shades of Grey was also playing in theaters. So they wrote and shot a series of commercials of Will Arnett going, oh, you like a gentleman who wears leather and black. Well, have we got someone for you? And just, it's Will Arnett just wandering through a mansion, just doing double entendres. And then at the end it said, the Lego Batman movie. And they showed it to us and they were like, yeah, we shot this. Warner's has decided no.
Just no.
Just no.
Boo.
There were some great things. There was also, yeah, I think I can say this. I don't think this is bad. They also had this great idea in real time. I saw everyone come up with the idea of getting all the live action Batmans to reunite for the screening because apparently Val Kilmer was down, Christian Bale was down. So they're like, oh, let's talk. And they were like, Michael Keaton's down. But someone
who's missing?
Someone said no.
Well, Adam West was dead, so
no, Adam West was still alive. He had a couple months left in him. But yes, one of the movie Batmen who has come back to the role.
He wasn't ready yet.
He was not emotionally down.
Now, was it the Nespresso guy or was it the Dunkin' Donuts guy?
Al Pacino?
Don't mind if I do.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Well, I guess that's up for the listeners to decide.
So there was this movie, this really old movie called The Lego Movie. Old people
Yes.
like us remember it.
That changed children's life. Listeners, before the Lego movie came out in 2014, we thought, one, IP could never cross over with other IP. And two, that it was actually stupid to watch children's movies about branded toy entertainment.
Yes.
But let me tell you,
There's no story. It's not like He-Man or Transformers. There's no lore. What is this shit?
whoa. Hey! Did you just say there's no lore to Lego, you Bionicle denier?
Well, Bionicle is a different thing. I mean, I know where the story of a man stuck in a river in Lego City is powerful storytelling, but
A man has fallen into the river in Lego City.
But your former bosses had the crazy idea of what if we made a feature-length toy commercial and they handed it to these men named Lord and Miller.
Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Okay, so fun fact. While I never got my chance to intern for Lord and Miller at the time because they were directing Solo, so I feel that was worthless for all of us. We should have been friends. I have talked with Phil Lord on Twitter. We talked about the How I Met Your Mother episodes he wrote. He basically created
which is
Barney
the
Stinson.
worst. I like Phil Lord and Chris Miller, but How I Met Your Mother might be the worst show I've ever seen.
no,
in my life.
I don't hate that show.
How I Met Your Mother is a great show. It's like my favorite TV show next to Community.
Oh,
Which
man.
is why I love the Lego movie, because the Lego movie is basically that early 2000s reference heavy, meta, heart of gold sense of humor. I also love Clone High, the original. I haven't finished the current season.
I watched a few episodes of it, and it's not as good.
They foolishly minimized Will Forte as Abraham Lincoln.
So the Lego Movie was a hit.
Yeah, no, it was a movie that everyone expected to fail or think was going to be like the Roblox movie that came out a few years later. It ended up being like not just a commercial hit, but a critical hit, to the point where I had film professors going like, what are you guys doing here? Watch the Lego movie.
Yeah, no, I mean, I remember like I was cautiously optimistic for it because this like product like pop culture orgy thing was pretty new, so it was like it could be shit, and most of it has been shit. But I also knew Phil Lord and Chris Miller not from their godforsaken work in How I Met Your Mother, but from a movie I really love called 21 Jump Street.
Oh, yeah, and 21 Jump Street was great.
It's hilarious, it's funny, it's inventive. Yeah, for my money, that's still their best movie. Well, and the Lego movie, too. It's like a tie.
I think the Lego movie might be, yeah, it's at least a tie.
21 Jump Street for me falls under those comedies where there's so much realistic violence, I find it hard. I'm sorry, listeners, if the gun violence is too realistic in a comedy, I'm just like, they're dying.
That's not very Joker of you. I mean, you're Batman, I guess. I guess it makes sense.
I hate gun violence.
Right. Okay, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
You could stay on.
I have integrity, you son of a bitch.
So the Lego movie was a huge critical and commercial hit. And within the span of 2.5 years, they were able to crank out a sequel. Well, a spin-off sequel.
It was very confusing, their game plan here. Because in the Lego movie, there was a moment they had Batman, and this was the coolest Batman.
He was one of the characters that stole the show in that movie,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of characters
He
in it.
was so cool. He hung out with Han Solo in a moment that I actually remember telling Paul, they're saying in the Lego movie, Batman meets Han Solo. And Paul was like, what? Like, that's how innocent we were back then.
Where did that guy go, Paul? It was like,
I know.
if I told you something like that now over text, you would just be like, ugh, let me sleep.
Then Jake would describe what happens in Chippendale. Batman fights E.T. and then I jump off a bridge.
Well, that Chippendale Rescue Rangers, I think, is a good case study of how to do the Lego movie formula wrong.
I think it's still funny.
I just imagine like Paul is like a chipper 18-year-old, like, oh boy, mister, I'm in Los Angeles. And then like
Phil Lord takes you to the Lego dungeon.
But yes, no, I was curious about it. Having seen 21 Jump Street and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which I remember being surprisingly good.
It's okay. It's okay.
I couldn't finish it.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
It's kind of weird, but yeah. That was one I went in like almost completely blind, and I was like, oh.
Okay, you know what my issue with Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is? The movie is about a guy
That can't happen in real life.
No.
Don't read meatballs.
No. The movie is about a guy dealing with his father. The book is about refugees.
All right, so the Lego Batman movie. It is not directed by Lord and Miller this time.
It's directed by a proud Irishman named Chris McKay.
Yes, future director of movies like Renfield and The Tomorrow War.
But you know what he directed, and yes, Renfield is interesting again, how it kind of does the same thing as this movie, but really badly. And you're like, oh no. But you know what he directed before this movie?
What was that?
He directed, I believe, you can fact check me on this, the piece of cinema that's very close to me and Paul and some of our more depressed college friends' hearts, the third Star Wars Robot Chicken special.
You might be right, actually.
He
Hold
has
on.
the sole directorial credit for that.
Wait a second. Yes, he did.
Yes.
That's the best one. Yeah, that's
Yeah, it starts with Bob O'Reilly with Palpatine going, you might be wondering how I got in.
And that's it has so many Stormtrooper.
Stormtrooper, Yarrow Poof.
Everyone should watch specifically that. Possibly the best Star Wars parody item ever made.
Smoking Joker gas and watching that is the best thing ever until you remember you were almost 30 and then it's horrible.
That's right. No, it's a classic product and put him on a good path. And Chris McKay, of course, was in the Lego family because he had supervised the animation on the first Lego movie.
Yes.
So if you need somebody to finish this in a crunch, which, as we will learn, they were in a crunch, who better?
He also has a Batman connection. He was supposed to direct a Nightwing movie that maybe would have gotten made. It's not. But he was
When?
attached to make a Nightwing movie. They announced this in like 2018, 2017, and it just never got made. So it would have been like a DC EU Nightwing. So they would have overrode Zack Snyder, said the Robin that died was Jason Todd, and they would have just had Nightwing in a movie by himself.
That would have been pretty wizard.
So the Lego Batman movie, like we said, Batman was one of the breakout characters, also happens to be one of the biggest film franchises in existence. And the year before, you had Zack Snyder cutting his teeth on doing his own version of Batman for his larger DCEU project, which was not particularly kid-friendly.
Well, yes. And also it's worth noting that the Lego movie comes out the year after Man of Steel.
Yes.
The studio executives already know that they are all in on the Snyder iteration. So the idea of having one that is colorful and funny was appealing.
Because if you notice this, because, you know, you had Batman v Superman come out in 2016 and The Batman come out in 2021. And then they always counter program it with, okay, we need something for kids because this shouldn't be shown to anyone.
This may be shocking to our current listeners, but Wonder Woman, when the Lego movie came out and Wonder Woman and the Flash were in it, that was the first time those two characters had ever been in a theatrically released movie. So Marvel had already been like 2 Avengers movies deep, and DC was just being like, wait, we should make movies about our characters.
Well, yes, the all in on DC and the all in on Lego meant that within 12 months we had at least 3, maybe 4 theatrical films that had Batman in them.
Oh yeah, no, the last 3 movies were like in a 9-month span.
Yeah, when we were organizing our list of movies that we were going to talk about, it's just like 5 movies for like 30 years and then like 30 movies in the span of 5 years, right?
But
It's
then
like,
weirdly, like, this is the only movie which actually was trying to be like a Batman movie in that time, because Killing Joke wasn't supposed to go theatrical.
it's what's odd. It's like we've gotten to a point where like again, because The Dark Knight, despite being an incredible movie, it starts so many bad trends, and one of them is like every single fucking Batman movie now has to be an auteur putting his own personal stamp, and to a point where it's like it's not even a kid's thing anymore. It's like this weird violent shit where like everyone's some different violent thing.
But Jen, it's always been like that since Tim Burton, because you had Batman 89.
Well, that is true.
That was marketed to children, though.
Yeah, that is more so my point. It's just like, would I show my 5-year-old Batman 89? Hell yeah, it's funny.
Nice.
Would I show my 5-year-old The Batman? The first scene is traumatized. You know, like.
All right, but this is an interesting point that I think applies to Lego Batman, is what you see in the superhero explosion of the 2010s is now adaptations don't have to be all things to all people. Like Batman the Animated Series in the 90s, it had to appeal to kids, but it also had to appeal to adults, and it resembled the comic book because everyone was like, we got to make an all ages adaptation that resembles the comic book. Now in the 2010s, like you have Spider-Man movies that are hypothetically for people a little older. You have Spider-Man cartoons that are explicitly for kids. And with Batman, you really see this because, yeah, now the movies are for adults. They're rated PG-13 or even R sometimes, but they are for adults now. Now you have an animated Batman that, well, is allegedly only for kids, though the whole thing with the Lord and Miller is these movies are also for adults.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the rise of the man-child era. So we love this movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I love it.
Lord Miller had created a Lego movie, and at the same time as they were overseeing the production of this movie, they were also working on Solo, and they were also working on the Spider-Verse.
They were also working on The Flash. Seth Grahame-Smith, who wrote the story and screenplay for the Lego Batman movie, also wrote a screenplay for The Flash that was going to be directed by Lord and Miller.
They were everywhere, and they still are, and they were pretty wide-ranging in their influence. But in this time of the meta, the pop culture saturation, they were the people who just spun crap into gold on a pretty regular basis.
Film
Yeah.
Crit Hulk basically said they were the only people who knew how to properly write screenplays in Hollywood, and honestly,
He's wrong.
Well, yeah, false.
Every time you mention Hawkeye, it's something idiotic.
They were the people who knew exactly how to write the movies that Hollywood wanted to make in the 2010s,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
well, it has to simultaneously sell a product, but also they need to get to the core idea of a product, like very strictly marketing terms.
Right. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 Jump Street, Lego Movie, Spider-Verse, all terrible ideas.
objectively.
Things that shouldn't exist, right?
But they're able to find some sort of core thing, you know, like the mission statement of the company or brand they're working for, and they're able to translate that into an emotionally satisfying screenplay.
Yeah, I mean, I think really the only thing that I read about it, there wasn't a whole lot of info on Wikipedia about making this movie. But as we know, technically this is a Warner Brothers animation project, but
Yes.
at the time that was not really a thing. So like all of the Lego movies are animated by a visual effects company called Animal Logic.
Yeah.
And Chris McKay oversaw that.
And they are not stop motion. I remember I used to get in fights with my old college roommate over whether or not the Lego movie was stop motion because
No, of
she
course
was
it's not.
adamant.
Yeah, I had the same fights a lot where I'm just like, they do a really fucking excellent job in these movies in making it look like something. Like the animation is amazing and very well thought out, but I was also like, Dad,
You can't do this.
It's like, think about, if you know anything about stop motion, you know that this would take 150 years to produce.
yeah, I was like,
in stop motion.
I told my filmmaking dad, like, Dad, it's literally impossible to make. But they did a really great job emulating it.
Yeah, they make it look stop motion. They add texture and deformities to all the Lego pieces.
Everything has the texture as if it's a real toy of that scale.
Yeah.
And they do some of the techniques that they would later refine in the Spider-Man movies of, you know, messing with the motion blur and the frame rates.
And the movie, after it comes out, you keep messing with it so your animators never see the sun.
Yeah, you just keep messing with it. Yeah, I was going to say, maybe I'll just say it now, but like, I think watching this, I did really appreciate. I also rewatched the Lego movie sometime a few months ago, and it really holds up. In some ways, I think Lego Batman maybe even like refines the look a little bit more, because I think part of the thing with like making a movie out of Legos is just sometimes when you look at Legos, it takes a second to figure out what it's supposed to be.
Well, especially when you have like the dramatic lighting and stuff on top of
Yes,
that.
especially with this super, super glossy. They said they were inspired by Michael Bay-esque kind of hyper saturated
Yeah,
lighting.
well, specifically they said they wanted to do Michael Bay and Henry Selick as teenagers was the inspiration for the
There you
look of
go.
this movie.
No, I mean, that's their thing, is like they have an idea and they just run, like they go for it, you know?
It's pure.
And it's a very pure, well thought out idea. Like, I love this thing of like, oh, Lego movie, of course it should look like one of those stop motion Lego videos that you see on YouTube. You know, it should have
Yeah,
this
it should
like,
be the most like, you know, insane over the top version of that. But it is remarkable how legible it is because of how fast everything's moving and the designs and all
just
that.
like how every piece is like a real Lego piece is like insane, like an insane amount of thought.
They have like a team of builders that they go like, all right,
Master Builder.
yeah, they have master builders that go like, all right, we need like a car and it needs to look like this. And then they just design a vehicle or a building.
And then they have to figure out how to animate it to actually, like, you know, the way their arms move, right? Like they're pushing it in terms of realistically, like, you know, when they bend their arms or whatever, like the arm's not actually attached, but it's thought through in terms of the framing and the blocking so that that doesn't bump for you.
These are really good looking movies, which is kind of shocking for something based off a toy that has a lot of pegs.
And also shocking considering, I think I looked it up, like the first Lego movie cost like $65 million apparently, and this one was not much more than that. A tiny fraction of most other animated films. And the other thing I was going to say is that I think so many of the gags in this, it really is just, I'm like, they just look funny. Like the way they, just as a toy and the effects and like, and the way, the tasteful way that they animate the 2D elements, which is like their faces and stuff.
Yeah.
All of it, I realized, is like in the way they define this style, it's really a testament to how you can make, people always say that like it's hard to have the simplicity of like limited animation in CG because it looks cheap. A lot of people believe that you have to spend $200 million on a CGI movie because you could make a movie that looks like South Park, but people are going to say it looks cheap. There's no way to make that look good in CGI. But this, they found the way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Where it has the humor of the limitation without, feeling like it's made for $5. And that's something that's worth thinking about.
No, I think like the whole, exactly what you said, like the designs and all that stuff are funny, but they're funny in like this very like kind of cute, like childish looking way, where it's just like, I was thinking like, why am I really annoyed by the other sort of like pop culture orgy, branding type dog shit movies like Ready Player One, or
which the Joker is in.
Yes, or Deadpool 3, which I'm sure the Joker's also in somewhere,
Ooh, I'm about to make a Joker for myself here. Why is Channing Tatum in all these movies?
That's a good question. That's a philosophical question. But yeah, I think my answer to this question is I was looking at it and I was just like charmed. I don't know why I'm gonna talk like an old lady, but I'm just like, no one's making crude jokes, like.
Well, yeah, like the humor and even the sensibility of like, I mean, obviously, again, this was the era of trying to catch up with like, every studio is trying to mash all of its brands together, and Warner Brothers is conscious of that, and you have to have Sauron in this and all this. But like even in the humor and in that, there is a sense of like plausibly this could be in a child's brain.
Well, that's exactly. This genuinely feels like a child playing with their Legos, how they would play with how we remember doing it, or something like Ready Player One feels like old man does not know what he's talking about, even though it's the best filmmaker on earth, right? It's like, that's my whole thing.
Well, I mean, that's what I think is cool about the Lego Batman movie, is it's so committed to that sense of play, you barely notice it's even connected to the other Lego movies. Like, for a lot of it, it feels like it could just be a standalone Batman movie until he, like, takes his hair off.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, as far as I could tell, basically the only thing in the actual script that has anything to do with Lego is that they established that Batman is a master builder, and that's one of his key powers.
The abyss of nothingness. They show the video of Emmett falling into the abyss of nothingness from the first Lego movie when they explain it at the beginning of the movie.
Right.
So yeah, they machinated a little bit, but it's pretty tangential to this story.
And it's already Lego, so you're just kind of like, okay, I get it. They know how to build shit out of nothing. That's fine. It's funny how they're able to stay true to the ideas of, Batman and the Joker, but it's like, okay, how do we translate this to how like a child will feel? Like Batman is all about, I'm the best. I
mean, but that is the thing, is like they make it fairly legible to an adult audience by going into the like, he's emotionally withheld. This is an one-sided relationship.
Are most children singing songs about how Batman doesn't pay his taxes?
I know Paul was.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite thing about him.
Paul has a "Don't Tread on Me" flag right next to his Woodrow Wilson poster.
It's very confusing. He has a Democratic president and a Republican flag.
Yes. But they all have Joker colors in them. It's insane.
Oh yeah, a lot of purple.
All those clowns in Congress, the clowns.
But it's a little something for everyone, where it's just distilled down to like a simplified thing of like, okay, how do we see Batman, or what does pop culture think Batman is, mostly based on the movies, and how do we translate that to where it's like you have the kid-friendly theme of friendship, teamwork, and then you have the adult thing of learning how to deal with abandonment issues.
Well, yeah, they build out the story, but it's also like, I think that you get a lot of mileage out of just being upfront about like, look, this is what people actually like about Batman. He's got a bunch of toys. He is a toy, and he has toys. and he's
Yeah.
got a kid that likes the toys, and it's all the stuff in a place, you know.
Also, his team that we haven't seen in like 20 fucking
Yes!
years.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's the main
You
thing.
remember when we watched Skyfall, and it was like, this is all like about bringing the Bond family back to, and we're like, who gives a fuck? But here you're just like, yeah, Robin, Batgirl, the Bat family's back, you know? It's like,
No, that's what I've been saying for years is like, all right, we had the Nolan films, no Robin. Robin's important. You need to bring Robin back. And this is the only Batman movie they've made since this whole genre took over Hollywood to actually be like, remember Batman has sidekicks? Like, that's the story of Batman. It's the story of a loner building up a surrogate family with sidekicks. And this movie actually tells the damn story.
And it's specifically about how the movies refuse to do that because
Yes.
Batman needs to be cool.
To the point they literally erase Robin from Batman and Robin.
Yeah, and the 66 show, and the serials,
And forever.
and forever.
And Super Friends. Well, no, the Super Friends hate Batman. Let's get into the movie, should we?
Yeah, let's get into the movie proper.
Because there's someone who pops up in the first scene.
Oh yes.
But first, Batman has to talk over the logo. He has to quote Michael Jackson, which was the last year you could do that in a kid's movie.
If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. Who?
Anyway, so yeah, Mr. J shows up.
3 minutes, baby. 3 minutes on the clock. It's basically, echoes of The Dark Knight. I mean, he's doing a raid.
And The Dark Knight Rises, because it's a plane.
Well, yes, plain. So yeah, like it's all woven in. And I'm a little worried because, you know, he corners the pilots who are best friends and they do a whole routine with that. But then they don't take the Joker seriously because he's like,
No.
Batman always gets you. But no.
They also say Batman defeated him that time with the two boats. Batman did not defeat him in that time with the two boats. He was defeated by the common decency
The soul of Gotham.
Of the soul of Gotham.
Yeah, so maybe some laundering going on. But already, right off the bat, we have immediately addressed almost everything that we quibbled with in Batman 66, which is all the villains are here and the Joker has the plan.
They are all the Joker's employees. Yeah.
Yes.
And he has everyone. He has Harley Quinn. He has Penguin as Big Rubber Ducky. He has Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, which is from a Batman movie that hadn't even come out yet. He has
Yes.
Captain Boomerang. He has Billy D. Williams Two-Face. He has,
Yes.
finally, he has Conan O'Brien Riddler. He has Kate McCucci Clayface. And he has Killer Croc, who does something because this movie is very passive-aggressive towards Suicide Squad. He has, they're all the stars are here. He also, speaking of Cesar Romero, he also has Egghead and King Tut, which is interesting because this movie represents the first time Warner Brothers could legally use those characters. Like, this was around the time they figured out the rights issues for the Batman 66 villains and they could legally use them.
Exactly.
I love that this one actually, like, you know, even though it does get like super pop culture with other franchises later on, even when that happens, the center of it is still the Batman universe.
Yeah.
Even though this has Sauron and Voldemort, like, this is effectively a Batman movie.
Just a Batman movie where he fights King Kong and Sauron and Agents
And the Wicked Witch of the West.
and Dracula.
And Dracula, because why not?
And the shark from Jaws that they don't.
I'm sure we'll have a Deadpool movie where he fights Daniel Plainview, but it'll still be a Deadpool movie.
I drink your milkshake. Sounds kind of gay. Deadpool.
You wanna drink my milkshake? Jeepers, chimichanga.
I'm into that, but I
Wow.
love women.
Oh God, we're living in hell. Anyway, go on.
Right off the bat, Batman shows up
Yeah.
and he's beating people up. He's blasting his theme song.
I'm Batman, which is one of the greatest Batman songs ever written. And it tells you who this Batman is. He's leaning into everything people say they don't like about Batman. And it's fun because at this time, Batman had gotten so popular and people wouldn't shut up about how cool Batman was that having a version with Batman who's just a dumb frat pro is so refreshing.
And right off the bat, we set the bromance angle
Yes.
of of Batman being like, there's nothing special about our relationship, Joker. I don't need you.
Batman and Joker are not a thing. I don't need you. I don't need anyone. You mean nothing to me.
And Joker's like, what?
It's really funny how, I mean, this is the same Batman movie where he needs to form the relationship with Robin, Batgirl, and fix things with Alfred. But the central relationship of the entire movie, the one that is the inciting incident and needs to be followed through at the end, is this bromance with the Joker.
Which is it's what we've been talking about the entire podcast, is this relationship. And this is the first one where it's like the main thing like brought forward. It's awesome.
Hey, what is The Killing Joke to you?
The Killing Joke is weird porn that I'll never watch again.
Okay, but you know what The Killing Joke is? The Killing Joke is just the tip. This is full penetration. So
Oh, jeepers.
I would say it's the other way around, but I see what you mean. Yeah.
But they're literally taking that, you know, the Killing Joke or the End of the Dark Knight, the You Complete Me, and they're setting that is the premise for this rom-com, basically.
Yes.
It's interesting how they do it. It's like, we fight. He's like, I fight Bane. He's like, no, you don't. You fight me. He's like, Superman. Superman is who I fight.
Who else drives you to one-up them the way that I do?
Bane.
No, he doesn't.
Superman.
Superman's not a bad guy.
And it's like, well, then I'm just fighting a lot of different people.
I'm fine with you fighting other people, but when we fight, it's something special, right? No.
I'm going to get into it. We'll talk about this version of the Joker a lot this episode, where Joker's trick. I have issues with this version of the Joker. And the main one, we're already seeing it here.
He doesn't really act like the Joker.
That's part of it. Joker and Harley Quinn are like the most well-adjusted people in this movie.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
besides the fact that the Joker tries to kill everybody.
Yeah, but it's a cry for help. And they talk about it. They talk through their feelings. He's like, Batman, I just want an honest discussion with you about what the nature of our situationship is.
No, I see what you're saying, because it's really funny, but it's not funny in a Joker way. And it's like everyone here is acting like, obviously Batman's not acting like Batman, but he's acting like a child's parody
Yes.
of Batman, you know? Joker's not acting like a child's parody of the Joker. He's just acting like a dude, like Zach Galifianakis.
He's just a dude. He's not as wacky as Batman. Batman is incredibly. It's the beginning of this movie is the Killing Joke beginning in reverse, where the Joker is like, "How long can we do this?" And then Batman's like, not responding to him.
Like
that's
Batman's
basically
fucking
it.
like, heating up chicken and playing electric guitar and stuff. The roles are a little inverted, yes.
Yeah, so they have all this big old fight, and Batman is at home. He's like, I don't need anybody. He watches Jerry Maguire and he laughs at Tom Cruise. He laughs at his big face.
He laughs at, you complete me.
The scene of him like heating up the lobster chicken, it's the funniest fucking shit ever. Like,
It is.
It's like no music, wide shot, you know, just like he's
in a smoking jacket and he has the mask on.
I love that. It's just like he only takes it off when it's absolutely necessary.
Again, it's like, it's perfect, like, visual clarity. It's economical, because if he was Bruce Wayne all the time, he wouldn't be able to tell who he was. He needs to be Batman, and his true identity is Batman. So he's only Bruce Wayne when he has to perform Bruce Wayne, right?
Or when he's letting someone in at the end with the Robin.
Yeah.
Which is very true to the comic.
And then again, just like this lonely scene in his house, it's all just great designs, beautifully like composed, looks hilarious.
Also, behind the scenes fun fact about this scene, the line Iron Man sucks
What is the password?
Iron Man sucks.
did have to be okayed by Marvel, and they exchanged some lovely gift baskets because
So they were made by Jared Leto. It was filled with like
it was actually filled with
Send
that.
over dead rats and used condoms.
But no, so fun fact about, if you ever wonder why all these Hollywood animated films have like 50,000 celebrities and all these references, it's because that's a great excuse to build your network if you're a mid-level exec hoping to keep working in Hollywood.
I mean, a surprising amount of things do have to be formally licensed, but even just things that really don't, like that, it's nice to, maintain relationships.
Just like Batman learns it.
Yeah, Yeah, like how he learns in this movie.
Batman gets to say Iron Man sucks, and then Deadpool gets to say Superman sucks, or something.
Right.
Troy had a question. Had we had a version before where Wayne Manor is on an island?
This is a good question, Paul. No, this is unique. It is not normally on an island because there's a cave, and it's kind of hard to organically put in a cave into an island.
Because it sort of, just a little bit, tips off who Batman might be.
Yes.
Well, but it's also kind of like a child's like idea of like Batman lives in an island. Yeah, he lives in an island.
Yeah, he doesn't need anyone else.
Yeah, and he has a robot dog.
I kind of like it from a thematic standpoint because he lives in Wayne Manor on Wayne Island. He's cut off from the rest of the city.
Yes.
Well, I think they literally say it. It's like no man is an island.
He says you live in an emotional and literal island.
Yeah.
Master Bruce, you live on an island, figuratively and literally.
Yeah, I love it.
Which also, okay, we gotta mention Ralph Fiennes as Alfred. Incredible choice.
Yeah.
Legitimate great performance.
Is he a better Alfred than M?
He is.
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, yeah. What, the guy that accidentally creates COVID and
Well, like a combination of Ralph Fiennes' performance and the performance of the CG minifigure. Just every time when like Batman goes like, you don't have a surrogate family, you don't have a surrogate son, and there's the look of despair that just comes on his face. And no matter what, no matter how much of a dick Batman is to Alfred, he's always has this gentle, paternal tone to his voice.
You can't spend the rest of your life alone, dressed in black, listening to angry music and staying up all night.
He encapsulates what works about this movie, which is like he's really funny, but also genuinely works as a real Alfred. And it's also like you feel actually emotional, like sad and happy with his arc of like Bruce accepting him as his father, you know? And it's like the only thing that I don't get is why they didn't get Ralph Fiennes to do Voldemort, but that's
So this is weird. There's a lot of quotes, and again, I actually don't have behind the scenes information on this, but the alleged quote is they claimed, well, if Ralph Fiennes played Voldemort and Alfred, we would have to make a joke about how they sound the same, and we didn't want to write a scene between Alfred and Lord Voldemort.
Shut up. You just didn't want to pay him extra hours in the recording booth. Be honest.
And this is also a thing where I'm fairly certain Ralph Fiennes, that was probably like, they weren't sure who they were going to get to be the villains until a little later in production, so they probably cast him as Alfred. And
You're
then they were like,
right.
hey, Ray, do you want to be Voldemort? He's like, what the hell?
But I'm Alfred.
He's like, I'm playing Robert Moses in West End. Leave me alone.
Yeah, like, no.
yeah. Okay, but I was gonna say it is very fun that, you know, because we have the Lord and Miller sensibility, and you saw this a little bit in, you know, their other films as well. I mean, I guess especially in Spider-Verse, because they're big enough nerds and because they straddle live action and animation, you see very thoughtful casting throughout, and many of which is almost like fan casting of like what they wish had been, or, you know, kind of the ones you would have wanted to see. And it would, in some cases, like Zoe Kravitz, actually came true. She may have been cast for real at that point. I don't know.
I don't think so. No.
She was cast in like 2019.
Okay.
I think she had been gunning to play Catwoman for somehow, somewhere for a while.
She's a better Catwoman in this. She's better.
Me, ouch.
That usually doesn't happen. It's like if you played the animated counterpart already, then you're not going to do the live action version.
I feel bad for Megan Donnelly. She played Supergirl in the DC animated original movies. I thought she did a really good job, but she came in second for the new Supergirl movie. Shame. She's my favorite Supergirl. So another note I love about this scene, and it's again Bruce Wayne. They don't show the origin, but they have him looking at a picture of a selfie of him with his parents outside the Monarch Theater, feeling sad. And again, you don't have to tell the whole origin, but still that acknowledgement of that core tragedy is so important. It's not like a certain series of movies that started that same year where they were like, oh, we don't talk about Uncle Ben at all. Like, nothing to do with Uncle Ben. Just avoid. I'm like, no, you need to remember why the character is the way He is.
Some acknowledgement is nice.
What did Uncle Ben do in that universe that they won't even mention? They won't even bury him next to his wife.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Gooning is bad. He's the A1 nut boy.
That's my uncle.
Yeah, we already established why Uncle Ben did. Uncle Ben, no!
Stop it, Peter.
You know, I always thought I was a bit of a master builder myself.
I'm something of a master.
There you go.
So, at the charity scene, we finally meet.
Oh, like Robin is in a boys' choir.
Robin is in a boys' choir singing Michael Jackson songs.
Played hilariously by Michael Cera.
Dick Grayson, the original Robin, eat my shorts.
And we get our first dick joke for Dick Grayson in 80 years of Batman media.
My name's Richard Grayson, but all the kids at the orphanage call me Dick.
Well, children can be cruel.
Yeah.
That's not true. In Batman and Robin,
Oh, you're right.
he says something like she was trying
She was trying to kill you, Dick.
She wants to kill you, Dick.
Yeah. Which is a great line.
It's ambiguous. That could read either way.
But much like how this movie is full penetration of the ideas of the killing joke, they go all the way with it and go like, some children are just cruel.
So again, because Robin, we don't know if his parents were killed by criminals, but that's not important.
No.
What's important is he wants to be adopted at this party where Commissioner Gordon is resigning.
He's retiring.
This is an interesting, as we traced a couple episodes back, this movie tries to split the difference as far as Bruce and Barbara. And one thing they establish is Commissioner Gordon is very old. He's retiring.
And he has been the reason for the status quo of Batman always beating up the bad guys but never arresting them.
It's kind of hilarious because this movie is kind of like at the end of the Batman timeline, but also like at the beginning.
Yeah, that's what's great.
It's like he's gone through the entire history of Batman already, but it's also his origin story for like Robin and Batgirl, you know?
Right.
It's like,
He's like 90 years old, but he's never met Robin before.
where it's like the 57th Justice League anniversary.
Yeah,
You're right.
where they're all playing, but Robin has never been.
Yeah, no one knows what Robin is.
They've gone 78 years, but he has a reggae costume for some reason.
That's amazing. Well, the explanation for the Robin costume's hilarious, and to me it was also hilarious that he was like Mexican Batman. That's insensitive.
El Mariachi.
I like that one.
That one is culturally insensitive.
And then he was like, "Oh yeah, it's my reggae Batman costume. They called me Reggae Man."
The locals called me Reggae Man.
Then he does the voice.
Doesn't that costume have dreads on it too?
Yes, it does have dreads on it. And then he made his child wear. All right, while we're talking about that costume, is anyone else annoyed that Robin has red boots in this movie when he's always had green boots?
No.
It
Didn't bother
bothers
me.
the crap out of me. I punched someone at my internship.
So Batman.
So the party. So yes, much like the Killing Joke and no Bruce Timm in sight, we have a Batman Barbara Gordon relationship. Or he's in love with her, but she's not in love with him because she went to the Harvard for police.
She was top of her class at Harvard for police.
That's right. And look, we gotta say, she's talking a lot of sense. She's like this Batman guy. He's problematic.
She does say in a children's movie, Batman beats up poor people.
But we don't need an unsupervised adult man karate chopping poor people in a Halloween costume.
Yeah, she's like, what if Batman followed the rules?
And she also points out that they just don't arrest any of the bad guys that he beats up in this universe.
Right. Well, because they just go on and play forever.
Yeah. When again, if it was Deadpool doing this thing, I'd be like, haha, very clever. But this feels like kids, like kids that think it's clever, but it's not really, because everyone's made that joke.
Can you imagine a 7-year-old boy, Finn or whatever his name is, being like, Batman, you got to understand the rules of modern policing, and we have to actually put the bad guys away. I went to the Harvard for police.
Well, yeah, maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe it's not quite.
If a man-child was playing with Legos.
That's what I meant.
That's it. Yes.
It's a little something for everyone.
Well, Will Ferrell from the first movies.
Yes, Will Ferrell is actually the one playing with it.
Right, but then this is around when the Joker hatches his ingenious scheme where he's like, I'll give myself up and also all the other villains because he's so alpha that he can just have them all show up and put them in a big present and hand them to Barbara.
Well, he takes out all the Batman villains, showing that Joker could be a better Batman than Batman ever was.
Yes.
But it's interesting how the Joker gets his plan as he watches a newscast where Superman captures Zod.
And he's treating it like a broken off relationship.
Like an amicable breakup. Like, I respect Zod. He made me who I am, you know?
Like a celebrity, like Tom Cruise breaking up with Nicole. Well, no, that would be insane.
Well, that is true, because when Tom Cruise broke up with Nicole Kidman, she did twist his neck.
I also love how Bane's voice from The Dark Knight Rises has just become like the official Bane voice.
Yes, I do too.
Hello!
This is Doug Benson, who apparently would do Bane impressions.
Like, he also talks like that in the Harley Quinn show.
No, this version of Bane is like the dry run for the alpha version of Bane in the Harley Quinn show.
He talks like Sean Connery fucked Fozzie Bear. You know, there's like, I am Bane. You know?
There once was a bear in Philadelphia.
Waka waka.
Waka waka.
And so Batman is all messed up because all the villains are just in the prison yard and he's just like standing on the fence of the prison. And Barbara's like, can I help you? And he's like, no.
Barbara is willing to help him out. He's just like, we don't want to arrest you, Batman. We want to work with you. We want you to be a member of the community. Please be my friend. And Batman's like, no.
So he goes home, and who does he find but a little boy?
That he
accidentally adopted.
He accidentally adopted because he was too horny for Barbara that he just said yes.
And he's been there a week.
Alfred's already fallen in love with him. He's like, I've grown quite fond of him.
I've grown quite fond of the boy.
My favorite line, which is the funniest shit ever, but also so genuinely sad, is when he's just like, Alfred, you just served me. You wouldn't know what it's like raising a child.
You have no idea what it's like to have a surrogate son.
How dare you tell me how to parent my kid I just met? To the Batmobile.
We gotta mention, like, Will Arnett is also amazing. He's the funniest fucking guy ever.
This is, I think, his greatest work. I'm trying to think. Well,
Arrested Development, bro.
Oh, we have an Arrested Development reunion here because we have Michael Cera.
That's right, and Job. Yeah.
And fun fact, a third person who technically worked on this movie was also in Arrested Development because after I graduated from film school, my internship didn't get me a job, so I had to become an extra. So my first gig was to be in Arrested Development, and I watched Will Arnett do a magic trick in a parade in one of the Netflix seasons.
Yay! Yes, when it's banger, I'm also a big BoJack stan, and he's very good in that too.
Shut up, you hipster.
I know.
The Batman-Robin relationship reminds me a lot of the BoJack-Todd relationship.
Because one's asexual?
Well, the one thing that I like that's really funny is that they do the same thing in like pretty much every single adaptation of Robin does, where they're just like, we can't really make him a kid, but he is a kid at the same time.
Yeah.
He's just like
ambiguous. It's like in a Return of the Joker review when we're just like, man, this is like a little kid, and Troy's like, he's actually like 28. Like,
well, that's the thing with Robin is it's why I get why Robin is kind of hard to do in live action, because really this movie's correct. It's about Batman adopting a child. Then you have to basically show a child killing people, and it's no longer Temple of Doom. Well, I mean, not killing people, but like beating them up and going in the danger zone. Or you do Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, where Robin is so old, you're like, why are you adopting him.
This is a 28-year-old man.
He has a job.
He should buy an apartment, that fucking lazy bastard.
Yeah.
But Bruce decides to not confront Dick as himself, which also begins this very funny thread of, oh my god, Batman is Bruce Wayne's roommate?
Although Batman and Bruce Wayne co-adopted Dick, so he keeps calling them his two dads.
A month ago, I had no dads. Then I had one dad. Now I have two dads, and one of them is Batman.
Yeah.
And I also love, no, Batman doesn't live in Bruce Wayne's basement. Bruce Wayne lives in my attic.
Which is so psychologically true.
It has depth to it, yeah.
But even as Batman, he's like, I don't need a kid. Get out of here. Wait a minute. You know, small child's hands can reach into dangerous machinery.
Well, to get the Phantom Zone projector, because he's decided the only way to truly save Gotham is to basically kill the Joker.
Yeah.
I have to break into jail and send the Joker to hell.
Yeah, basically.
The Joker already is in jail, and Batman's like, not good enough, he must die. Like,
He has to do something.
He must be wiped away from existence.
like, we have to send him to another universe.
But he goes over to the Fortress of Solitude.
Very funny, and again, thematically appropriate, because Batman's like, Superman's got the right idea. Superman's a loner like me.
Yeah,
Exactly.
He's at a party.
And it's delightful.
And it's the Justice League dance party. We got DJ Wonder Dog from Superfan.
Yes.
DJ Wonder Dog.
I feel like everyone has had that experience of like, can you take a picture of us? And they're asking you to take a picture like of them. And I was like, perfect. Everyone's here.
We were totally going to invite you, Batman.
You just don't get the email blast, and then the Flash is like, I get them sometimes.
I think it was just funny because, again, in the DCEU, like the Justice League movie that came out later that same year, oh my God.
Yes.
The saturation.
The whole joke is Batman's the coolest guy in the room and everyone adores him. So I love that Lego Batman is just hated.
Yeah, it's just like, he thinks he's the coolest guy ever. And then it's just like, oh, you're just kind of awkward and weird.
It's Elon Musk, Batman. Yeah.
It's the, what movie is it where it's like respected but not loved? You know what I mean? Like, it's this conundrum. But they get the thing.
Yeah, they do a little heist thing, which involves master building. I think that's where we learn the master building technique.
Yes, Batman tries to teach Robin his signature methods of master building. And then they get it, and then they go to Arkham. And the Joker, again, this is a big win for us. Because the Joker effectively is baiting Batman. He basically says, hit me, and he wins. He does it.
Yeah, no, well, he's doing the Dark Knight thing. He's trying to get himself locked up in a bigger prison.
We were debating, does the Joker win in the Dark Knight? He definitely wins in this one.
Yeah, no, that's my issue with this movie, is I'm not a fan of the fact that the Joker wins.
But it's so sweet.
Yeah, because he knows him so well, and Joker is such a loving enemy of Batman. He knows everything he's going to say before he says it, and he gets to send him to the Phantom Zone, and Barbara's just standing there, and she's like, Batman, I have to put you away.
And the child. She also arrests
Robin,
the child.
You made this child an accomplice to your murder. And this is the one line I wrote down of Michael Cera Robin saying, as long as I'm doing a dime in the big house with my old man, everything's going to be A-okay.
Yeah, Michael Cera's like good in everything he's in, pretty much.
This is my favorite Michael Cera movie. I
think this might be my favorite performance by him too.
It's one of my favorite performances by him, also Arrested Development, but I gotta say the one that takes the cake is his performance as Wally Brando in Twin Peaks The Return.
Oh, everyone should be graced with his presence. But they're stuck in jail. The Joker goes to the Phantom Zone, and he meets Sauron, King Kong.
Yeah.
The Gremlins.
Generic dinosaurs.
The most from Jurassic Park, I guess.
Possibly.
Agent Smith.
Just like the most random fucking assortment of villains.
Well, it's everyone that Warner Brothers owns.
Yeah, just Warner Brothers villains.
I will say this, as someone who interned on the movie and like was paying attention, I was a fan of the series. I was literally an intern at that cruise screening. I genuinely did not expect the movie to go this route. I'm like, holy crap, Batman's gonna fight all these villains. That's so cool.
You know, one criticism I was gonna have, there's a line where like King Kong is running amok and something. I think there's a joke here that's like, he's doing it again. And then like in the next movie we'll talk about, they refer a lot to like Wall Street in Gotham City. And I was gonna say like, New York is not Gotham City, but after being 2 weeks here, it is definitely Gotham City. It is.
I thought you already established that you're living in Gotham City, though.
I am. That's what I'm saying. I thought I was in New York. I'm actually in Gotham City.
He was kidding before. He is not kidding now.
Yeah, it's the same place.
Oh, okay. Now I see.
As you can tell by Jan's big glasses, he's actually a vulnerable orphan who has been taken in by a man because he has small hands.
Dude, if there's a New York billionaire out there that's willing to adopt me, I would do anything. I would do unspeakable things.
Well, 2 fun facts. One, I think Chris McKay and the crew of this film have confirmed that they did take Christopher Nolan's lead and actually based the Lego models for Gotham in this movie off of Chicago.
That's nice.
Point for Chicago. Another fun fact, the only villain that apparently was cut from this villain lineup of only WB IP was Darth Vader. This unfortunately became the dividing point where Disney's ownership of Star Wars meant that Star Wars could no longer be in Lego IP, even though it's arguably their most iconic brand.
I mean, that was quite an event to have Han and Chewie. It was just Han and Chewie, right? Yeah.
No, Lando.
And Lando.
Played by Billy D. Williams, which is why he came back for this movie. Building the connections.
You know, look, the assembling all of the studio IP, a little crass, perhaps, but undeniably alpha.
Yes.
Unambiguously.
Joker outranks Dracula in this movie.
He fucking outranks the Smiths.
I think this is Warner, like, you know, in like the House of Mouse Halloween special.
It's our house now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Disney kind of effective immediately like declares Jafar as like the boss of the Disney villains. Here Warner's declaring the Joker, man.
As like the ultimate villain of all time. Like,
Yeah.
If you put them all in a room, they will follow the Joker anywhere. It's like, not only is he the king of Batman's villains and can have them thrown in prison, you know, as part of his cockamamie scheme, but he could also summon the will of Sauron, you know? So.
But you know, the thing here is it depends on what Lego Joker you're looking at. So the Lego Joker here, king of all the villains. Have you guys ever watched any of the direct-to-video DC animated feature films that are about the Lego versions of the characters?
No.
That are in a different continuity?
No.
In that version, the Joker can barely get hired to be on Lex Luthor's Legion of Doom because he's such a joke.
Aww.
So, you know, Lex Luthor's not here. You really need to see Lex and Joker team up, I think, to find out who is the true alpha.
Okay, now we're grasping at straws here. It's still pretty alpha.
No, I mean, it's fucking alpha as fuck. I will say, like, very much what we were saying, like, this guy is awesome, but is he really the Joker? I'm like, this is yet another scheme that seems more Bond villainish.
Yes.
Of just, like, wanting to destroy Gotham City.
No, here's my thing. And it's not just that Zach Galifianakis doesn't actually make a lot of jokes. Most of his jokes are like, Google it. Google it.
Probably worth the Google.
Yeah, which is jokes that everyone's making. Everyone talks like a millennial in this movie.
Yeah.
But my other thing is like, yeah, I feel in gaining his alpha status of being king of all the villains, the Joker has lost his wiry, unpredictable energy. That is what made us love him so much. Like, I feel whenever the Joker takes a leadership role, he loses a lot of his key jokiness.
Well, he needs to be the wild card.
It's like when Paul became producer of the podcast. He stopped, you know, blowing up kids and like stealing school buses.
He stopped doing what to kids?
I was going to say the one thing about this Joker, I don't understand the sharp teeth.
Well, it's to make him look scary. Again, it's a little try hard.
Like, they don't need to do that.
It looks a little bit like, I don't know if there was a toy that looked like that before this, maybe,
No.
but like, it looks a little like how a kid would draw him, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but it's a Lego minifigure that Will Ferrell will buy you for Christmas or your birthday.
That I feel like that's reaching, Paul. I feel like kids making jokes about the police state and evading taxes is more realistic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think kids making jokes about blurred lines in a friends with benefits situation is more what a kid would do.
I also do like that we see, I don't know, this is one of the few times we see Joker applying makeup. There's a shot of him putting the big lipstick on.
Yeah.
Just the lipstick.
Hey, wait, what are you saying? Joaquin Phoenix puts on makeup in like
We're
every
not
scene it's him
there
putting
yet.
on.
That's true.
When are we gonna get to Joker?
We're getting there. So Batman's stuck in jail. Who shows up? Alfred. Again, I don't know if people they've never seen Alfred before. They don't know who he is. They don't know that he works for Bruce Wayne. I don't know.
Well, he's just like, sure, why not?
The island, there's plausible deniability. Maybe they're just roommates.
Seeing Alfred like in the field and dressed up as 66 Batman, it makes me happy. I'm watching the movie with a smile on my face.
Yeah, it's great. It's like when Q gets in the field and like License to Kill.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I thought you were gonna say No Time to Die, and I was like,
No.
shut your mouth.
Why did you say that name?
Yeah.
Guys, we're trying to be positive now. Our dark days are behind us. We're a Joker podcast now.
Yeah, we apologize. We're trying to make up for our sins to that one guy that said that we are too negative in our podcast.
And so we've tried to go more positive, and everyone stopped listening to us.
But now we're at the negative part of the Joker podcast, and this is the Ray of Light episode.
Well, exactly. But basically, they talk Barbara into letting them out somehow. It doesn't really matter. And we find, again, massive alpha move. Wayne Manor is now Joker Manor.
Oh, yeah, he did what the Riddler did in Batman Forever.
I have been waiting that for like my entire life, basically. And I cried.
It's not just Wayne Manor is now Joker Manor. It's like there's fucking carnival rides on that shit.
Yep.
Like robots.
Super silly fun land. Yeah.
Voldemort has casted all his spells, which incidentally, apparently J.K. Rowling wrote for this movie.
He can only say Wingardium Leviosa, I think, legally, but like it's so funny.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Like that's a spell for everything.
Wingardium Leviosa.
And the gremlins are all gremlining everything.
Well, this is the first time we've actually seen gremlins take apart a plane, which is what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, that's true.
So that deep cut reference.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Gremlins are in this.
No, it's great to see the Kraken get released.
Yeah, no, the Kraken is released, even though they don't call it the Kraken for some reason.
They call it Sea Serpent because it was probably supposed to be Godzilla until the last minute, and then they were like...
But they already have Medusa in there from Clash of the Titans.
Yay, Clash of the Titans. Guys, listeners, if you haven't seen it, go watch the original Clash of the Titans. It's like one of the greatest movies of all time.
No, what you should watch is the Sam Worthington one in 3D.
No, the sequel to the Sam Worthington one, Thank Me Later.
Yeah, I haven't even watched that one. I've never thanked Chan.
There you go. Batman shows up. Oh, yeah. And then his whole team, they're like, we're going with you. And he's like, what are you talking about? And the Bat plane only has one seat.
Yes.
And they're like, why does it only have one seat? And he's like, last time I checked it, I only had one butt. Good gag. They're all crammed in.
But it is true. Why does the Bat plane normally only have one seat? Like, even in the Tim Burton... Like, I always thought about that as a kid.
Because he always has one butt. He just said it.
Yeah, but, like, what if, like, he had to rescue Vicky Vale or Rachel Dawes or Robin or something?
Well, this is why Christopher Nolan thought about this.
Wait, what did Christopher Nolan think
He
about
put a
this?
second seat in the Bat plane.
Yeah, he did.
Anne Hathaway gets her own seat. I just watched that last week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mother warned me about getting into cars with strange men.
This is like a...
Anyway, they go vroom vroom. They're bleeding out. They're shooting. They're blasting. Lego stuff's going everywhere.
Oh, Batman refuses to let any of them fly the plane, so he leaves it to Rope.
Autopilot. It's just a rope.
Exactly. Till I get back, Rope's in charge. Thanks, Rope.
Man, the Nolan Batwing is the worst fucking thing ever. Sorry, I'm still on that.
Oh, no.
They call it the Bat, and it looks like a giant fucking bug. I hate it.
It should look like a dog and act like a dog.
Yeah, that would be sick. If only there was a movie that...
I know, right?
Well, they call it the Prowler.
Not to be confused with the Spider-Man villain.
Oh,
But-
they were even thinking, Lord and Miller thinking 5 steps ahead.
Oh, they're 10 steps ahead.
Their plans are measured in centuries.
Think about it. This movie is about how Batman likes to work solo. Think about it. I haven't.
No, this is a better Han Solo movie than the Han Solo.
No, it is. And it's a better movie about finding your family than the Han Solo.
I feel like every fucking movie with Wolverine that I see is the same shit. Even Logan, it's just like, I'm a loner. Oh, I learned how to work as a team, you know? And I'm just like, this movie does it better than any of the...
Jan, no, it isn't. What about the Wolverine where he fights a monorail in a giant robot samurai?
Well, that's the one exception.
Exactly, that's the best one.
Yeah.
What about X-Men Origins Wolverine, where he cuts Deadpool's head off and gets shot in the
He
head?
literally meets all the X-Men as babies.
Yeah, but he doesn't learn to work as a team. He just goes
Yeah,
like...
he does. He works with Sabretooth to defeat Deadpool.
No, but then they go like, I hate you still.
Exactly, like in the Lego Batman movie.
But not in that way.
Well, my point is, like, there's so many times you can have the same fucking arc for a character, and this is an arc that I think is appropriate for Batman, but that we really haven't seen.
Yeah.
Well, because it's been a thing that is rarely touched upon, the Bat family, because when we think of pop culture Batman, it's like Robin is stupid, Batgirl is stupid, Batman is awesome when he's alone and he fights crime.
Alfred should serve him tea, and that's it.
Well, it's weird because speaking of The Dark Knight Rises, it has a very similar thematic structure to the Lego Batman movie. He meets an orphan named Robin. He's trying to get him to take him under his wing. He meets a woman, not Barbara Gordon, but Selena Kyle, who's like, have you thought about society, mister? And he gets thrown in a hole, and he has to come back to the hole. And then he's going to give himself up again to the sky and then to stop the bombs. And then suddenly everyone's like, no, you're fine.
Something like that, yeah.
But it doesn't hit as well.
They very consciously do the whole cliche of like, they even tells the robot dog, right? Like, go.
No, that's great. Where he has them all in the robot dog. He's like,
Get out of
here.
Again, a great encapsulating movie of what works in this movie, where it's just like, it's very funny. They're aware that they're doing the cliches, but they're doing the cliches genuinely well. Like,
Yeah.
You're generally bummed to see the broken up Bat family.
And it actually adds to the movie and is thematically relevant.
It's not humor that like sells out the integrity of the characters.
Or
you
the
know?
world. Or the believability of the world. And this is the same movie where Sauron fights Batman. So
Yeah, and I love that Sauron is just like a giant tower.
Yeah, he's just a giant eye who I think he has the most dialogue of any of the villains.
I think so.
Part of it.
Well, he's got to do something. He's just an eye.
So when he's looking up where Batman's base is, he even does like a beep boop boop.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Scary noise. It's beneath Wayne Manor.
That's a great Lego universe thing that they just established is everybody says beep boop like when they type or when they are thinking.
Everybody speaks in onomatopoeia and shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
or when they're shooting guns, everyone goes pew 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 pew.
Yeah.
Jan,
Yeah.
I think as the true thinking men of the podcast, I think we can agree on this sentiment that this is the best movie with Sauron in it ever made.
No.
I actually do agree with that.
Yes, thank you, Jen.
False, but
I think this is the best Batman movie of the last 16 years, and it's the best Sauron movie for sure.
I agree with both.
I agree with one of those. But anyway, Alfred almost dies at one
Oh, and
point.
it's so sad. When he falls off the plane, he's like going, I actually thought they were going to kill him. Even watching it today, I'm like, oh no, they're going to kill him. I've seen the
He's
movie.
gonna die for real.
Like, don't kill Alfred, but
They're gonna break off his little legs because Batman thinks he can go it alone. He
Yes.
gets sent into the hole, the Phantom Zone himself.
well, after he has his first fight scene with the Bat family and he gets the first glimpse of what it could be like to have a new surrogate family.
He gets them sent away, but he gets captured by the Joker, who brings him into the room, and he's like, say you hate me. And Harley Quinn's like, he's too good for you. You don't need to
Say I hate you, and Batman's just like, yeah, me too, I guess.
He's like, no!
No, say the words.
You haven't learned your lesson because you're still afraid. And they keep reinforcing that idea where Batman hasn't
Yes.
conquered his fear, which is snake clowns.
Snake clowns.
Bruce, listen. Your greatest fear is being a part of a family again.
No, now it's snake clowns because you put that idea in my head.
Yes. No, this is like some of these machinations. There's the little details about the production is You know, Chris McKay, of course, saying like, it would have been nice if we didn't have to crank out the whole thing start to finish in 2.5 years. This is the kind of thing I think maybe it's effective. That's just the thing, is like they know exactly the story beats they need to hit.
Exactly.
If Lord and Miller had iterated on it for another, 6 months or more, it may have been a little more clever, more like how it is in Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it wouldn't have to be as direct.
This movie moves very fast and is very blunt.
Yeah, it's like, how much do you need to write and rewrite and rewrite and rewrite and overwork your animators until they want to end their lives, so that the movie's like still like a 4-star out of 5, like
Go see Beyond the Spider-Verse. Beyond the Spider-Verse coming soon, maybe?
It's going to come out when Horizon Chapter 4 comes out, which is never.
Yeah. I was telling Jake, it's interesting that like at this era, they had like 8 different things that they were working on at the same time. And part of the, I think, chaos of these last 2 Spider-Verse movies is I think this is the only thing that Phil Lord is working on, right?
Well, and Clone High.
Well, barely even that, I think. They don't care. So Batman's in the Phantom Zone, and we do have this kind of funny bit of like whatever this block, it's like looks like a speaker, but it's just a block.
Yeah.
And they're just like, you're not a traditional bad guy. You're kind of a bad guy, but you're kind of a good guy.
As she's playing him scenes of him endorsing child endangerment, insulting his surrogate father, murdering the Joker.
Breaking into prison to kill people that have been lawfully invaded. Not a traditional hero.
Yeah.
So, but he somehow, again, talks it into being like, look, I'll give you all the souls back if you let me go. And they're like, okay.
But everyone needs to be accounted for. Everyone needs to be accounted for, including you, Batman, but not the Joker for some reason.
And he begrudgingly apologizes. And then, shocker, the city is, about to fall apart because of all the bad guys running around, and the Joker is willing to help.
Wait, question. Is this a good time to point out that the mayor of Gotham is for some reason played by Mariah Carey?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, are we just gonna ignore the fact that when Paul said the Joker is willing to help, he did like a Hare Krishna thing with his hands?
My hero. This is the Joker's hero moment. He says, if we save Gotham, we save us.
So if you help me save Gotham, you'll help me save us.
See, I feel like the Joker I know and love, if this would happen, he'd be like, well, who's up for Chinese?
Well, that was fun. Who's for Chinese?
Like, he would just leave. He would just go away.
But there needs to be a Gotham City for Batman to keep fighting the Joker.
That is true. He does explain it.
Well, yeah, this is the thing we keep talking about is like Joker wants to fight Batman and they want it to be cyclical, and this is them embracing that fully.
Yeah.
Well, the funniest thing is like it's all built up. He apologizes to Barbara and apologizes to Robin.
It's so sweet and it feels so genuine.
Yeah, the cherry on the top is like
all the villains he apologizes to.
Yeah, well, all the villains he apologizes to, but the last one down the line is his true soulmate, the person that drives him to save the city every night, the Joker.
No, honestly, I'm really impressed how like most of these, like I said, like pop culture, like commercial movies that are giant commercials, are usually so cynical. But this one, they managed to make it feel very just nice, like sweet.
Yeah, very
like,
sweet.
They believe in something. And again, just that like clockwork satisfaction of the screenplay of like, we save Gotham, we save us. We're going to stick together. We're going to crunch abs, which it's all paid off in one.
Even the bat shark repellent, we should point out, got struck earlier.
That's true.
Just to get used for one beat of fighting not Jaws.
Yes.
Yes. And they all pull the whatever is supposed to. I guess in theory, the Will Ferrell's table is falling apart.
His table
or
is coming
something.
apart, which is how Gotham could be destroyed. The plates, they're unstable.
Yeah, the plates are very shaky. They're not designed well.
Gotham City is built on a bunch of flimsy plates stuck together.
Batman nearly gets sucked up in a giant blue beam of light, which
Yeah, because Batman has to give himself over to the Phantom Zone because that was the deal he made with the Cube. But before he does that, he finally takes off his cowl in front of Dick.
But not in front of the villains?
Not in front of the villains,
Okay.
because they don't need to know who he is, but his adopted son and his platonic work buddy.
Yeah, he says the line, "My two dads are one dad, and they're both leaving."
And it's genuinely sweet because it's not undercut with the joke or anything, and like it's still kind of funny, but like when they embrace, they finally hug for the first time, and Batman doesn't have his mask off. It genuinely tugs your heartstrings a little bit. Like I kind of started tearing up.
It's kind of shocking. The script was written by like 5 different people, but like it does have a clarity of voice.
It's not sidetracked with a bunch of different stuff. It's the character study of this version of Batman. It's very straightforward with that.
I also want to point out that I should say, even though Batman is getting sucked into a giant blue light, to go back to the Phantom Zone, the climax of this movie does not revolve around them fighting a giant blue light. Slate said that in a review, and people got pressed about, because they were like, they worked very hard to not have the climax revolve around a giant blue light. So how dare Slate say that?
Yeah, that is true. I mean, it's grounded in like the real climax of this movie is like, will Batman and the Joker make up?
Make out. Yes.
That's great. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a little, it's convenient, obviously, that the Cube is just like, no, you're fine, Batman.
Well, it's like It's a Wonderful Life. It's like, you're fine. You did it.
You've learned your lesson.
He also made Barbara Gordon put on all those stripper Batgirl outfits, but he let her wear one she liked.
Oh, yeah. And then they have to say, well, she is Batgirl, but we have to make a dig of like, are you Batboy? Unresolved. Yeah. Don't worry about it. That's never coming up again.
Paul is such a fucking boomer. He hates the wokes. He hates the young generations.
Hey, guys, go easy on Paul being a boomer. I'm a member of the silent generation. So where am I? Who?
Okay, I must remind everyone that Paul has a poster of Woodrow Wilson and Don't Tread on Me and the Joker side by side.
It looks very similar to my high school coach's wall.
Yeah, that's true.
We've got a lot going on here. We did it. Oh my god.
Wait, does anything happen at the ending, or does Robin? We have the 2 selfies side by side.
There's the Robin outro song, which is the Robin outro song to police executives, as they call it.
Yes.
And parents.
The executives were pleased. Me and Jan were hooting, hollering at the screening, and then suddenly the name produced by Steve Mnuchin pops up and everyone's silent.
Yeah, no, I was having a great time, and then they took me to the fucking Lego dungeon, and then I had to recover at Big Boy. But yeah, that was
it was great. All right, but again, my problem at the end of the movie, the Joker's just hanging out with the Batman family. Like, he's part of it, and deep down, I'll have to say it, it's wrong. They should not be friends.
I think it'd be okay if this was definitely like the end of this Batman timeline, but like we said, it's like the ending, but it also is the beginning.
I guess Batman and Alfred do pop up in Lego Batman 2.
No, they're never friends. They say, I hate you. Like, Batman realizes that the Joker is his true archenemy, and Batman is going to stop the Joker continually now.
I hate you the most.
I will also say the I hate you the most scene is a little too sexual for my taste for the Joker.
Well, the thing is, what they're kind of doing is just embracing kink at the end of it, and his family is supportive of,
Yeah, I don't know if that's my Joker.
They're very, very satisfying hatred of each other,
Yeah, so you can make a metaphor of that this movie is kind of about the loner, gritty Batman accepting the importance of the rest of the Batman lore to the character, which DC Comics has shown they learn by just getting rid of all the lore and just throwing garbage at my face.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still eagerly awaiting the sequel that'll never come to this movie,
Oh, I don't know if we want to get into that, but do you guys want to hear the pitches for the sequel?
Hit me.
So this idea didn't get very far. I think I can say this. Here was Will Arnett's pitch for the sequel. Batman, Robin, and Batgirl get sucked into the real world and they're actual people, but they have to use gadgets made only out of Legos.
I mean, they could be funny.
Okay.
It's one of those ideas that's like it's either genius or terrible.
So real talk, the reason why this pitch happened is I'm pretty sure Will Arnett wanted to play live action Batman, but they were like, Lego won't give us the rights unless we can put Lego somewhere in this thing.
What if we made the Lego Batman 2, but we just call it The Batman 2 and drop the 2 and I'm Batman.
And I'm Batman.
Drop the Lego, drop the 2.
There was also a pitch, and this one I can confirm. It was going to be called Lego DC Super Friends, which was going to be written by Dan Harmon.
Oh, a Lego Super Friends movie would rock for sure.
This was actually announced.
If you've ever wanted to hear Dan Harmon talk for hours about Superman the movie and you think that would be a great experience, it was. He has a lot of good points.
It literally sounds like my own personal hell.
No, that was great. I was on the desk right outside and I'm like, good. He gets it. He gets the 2 missiles.
Yeah, but the real reason, I guess basically none of these things happened because Ninjago and then Lego Movie 2 came after this.
Lego Movie 2 was shocking. I saw it in an empty theater and I'm like, but don't you guys want to see the movie where an octopus lady tries to marry Batman? Don't you want to see it?
Well, that's the thing. It's like there's a really successful movie about something and studios think that it's like an infinite money hack. And then after a couple of years, everyone's like, no one gives a shit anymore. We like the first movie because it was good. Like only James Bond, only that franchise has it worked. Do
you think that if the Lego Movie 2 had come out before the Lego Batman movie and Lego Ninjago, people would have been more excited for it? Or do we feel like the Lego Batman movie kind of stole the thunder of being the direct?
Well, it did for sure because that's the thing. And people were like, I remember when it came out and it was that, and there was some other sequel within the same month in 2019, I think that would have been. And everybody's like, well, I guess sequels just aren't working. It's like, no, the problem is like, this is actually Lego Movie 4, not Lego Movie 2.
Right.
And Lego Batman gave you most of what you wanted to see in Lego Movie 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Emmett's kind of a boring character after the first movie's over. Like, there's really nowhere for Emmett to go. For some reason, Bruce Willis is in the Lego Movie too, as Bruce Willis. But he's doing Die Hard stuff. Wait. Have you guys actually not seen the Lego Movie 2?
I haven't seen Ninjago or Lego Movie 2.
It's all about learning to play with your sister.
Unfortunately, yes, we probably will not be seeing a Lego Super Friends because of the Lego Movie 2 and Ninjago, Warner Brothers let the Lego rights go. And then where did I hear this? Maybe on one of our colleagues' podcasts told us this.
Colleagues.
That
our best friends, people that we know personally.
Peers.
People I'm fighting around with.
People I'm fighting around with.
Yes.
Explained that apparently Universal snapped up the rights to Lego movies once Warner Brothers had let them go, under the impression that they would be able to make Emmett and Unikitty and Wild Style, but they cannot.
Yeah, no, because that's Warner Brothers. It's like what would have happened to Pixar if they left Disney. They would have lost Woody and Buzz. And
on an unrelated note, we're all very excited for the Pharrell Lego bio.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck me. We are living in hell. This is the worst timeline.
Jan, I haven't seen that movie in so long. I haven't gone to the movies in so long. Just let me have the Lego Pharrell Williams biopic.
No, you can watch it. I can be upset about it too, no?
Oh my god. I can't believe that's actually happening. There's a trailer for it.
It's like the most insane ego trip movie I've ever fucking seen. Isn't
this one of like 2 Pharrell biopics coming out?
Yes, they're doing a straight.
Both made by him.
Yes, I did hear about this. One is for Lego and it's for kids, and the other one is for adults about the gritty reality of being Pharrell Williams.
I'll buy the first ticket for the Pharrell Lego movie. Yeah, I have my final thoughts for Lego Joker.
Lego Joker, what do we think?
So it's another tough one because I like this character. I think Zach Galifianakis, when directed well, can be really good. He's one of those, and he is directed well here. Like, I think his relationship with Batman is like rock fucking solid and very in the vein of Joker Batman. You feel for this Joker, like you genuinely feel sad for him when the movie wants you to, happy for him when the movie wants you to. As a standalone character, it fucking works. However, is he the Joker? Yes, I know this is a parody, but like I said before, it feels like Batman is a parody of Batman. This Joker doesn't feel like it's a parody of anything. He's just a guy with sharp teeth, and his evil plot is not Joker-like at all. However, I really like him. And yeah, that relationship with Batman and the performance brings it up quite a few notches. Don't love the design. I'll give it an 8.6.387 out of 10.
Okay.
Cool.
So the movie, I like it. It's nice. I watch it with a smile on my face. I don't think it's as clever or funny as the one directed by that weirdo anti-communist guy.
And his friend.
But this one is just sort of one of these movies where it's just like, I'm not like hysterically laughing at it. There's actually quite a few jokes that do not land for me. But when they do, they're good. And even when they don't, it just feels cute to me and funny, like not in a funny haha way, but in like a smile and nod kind of way, like Jan approves.
You're sitting on the couch going ha ha he ho.
Yeah, like I that's nice, like this is like when grandmas watch like nature videos. This is like me with this movie, I'm like, that was nice. And it's also a great Batman movie, apart from everything. Like, it genuinely captures Batman. It brings back the Bat family. It has all the fucking villains. It takes place pretty much exclusively on Gotham City, and I guess some, like, Superman Phantom Zone thing.
the Fortress of Solitude!
The Fortress of Solitude. But, yes, I like it. Good job, everyone. 8 out of 10. It made me happy.
Very good. Yes, this Joker, I understand some of the reservations, but I think we just have to acknowledge that basically this Joker completely delivers on everything that we were asking for from Cesar Romero. He's just leveled up from Cesar Romero, and it even delivers on, if you're a Heath Ledger fan, it gives you everything you want. He's so alpha. He's so powerful. The relationship with Batman, the command over the other villains.
You're getting me all hot and bothered, dude. Calm down.
He's the hero of the movie in a almost.
I like how Paul can't bring himself to say he's a good Joker.
Well, I was about to say he's a good guy. I'm like, well, that's weird to say about
Oh my
Joker.
God, Joker.
We don't like him because he's a good guy, although he kind of is.
Yeah.
On paper, this is like almost hands down the greatest Joker ever, if we can get over the fact that he just doesn't act like the Joker. He's kind of the straight man to like the comedy that's happening around him in some ways. And he has to be kind of normal because comedically the focus is kind of on the interplay between Batman and Robin. They're the more the odd couple, and then he's kind of playing the jilted lover. That's delightful as well. But we have to kind of reconcile with this. So I am slightly conflicted, but I feel like this Joker he's at least an 8 out of 10. Like he's very good. Zach does a good job, and I liked when he put lipstick on his mouth.
You're so weird, dude. You're so
Yes, this film, even at the time after we had suffered through an insane glut of superhero movies and just seeing Batman everywhere you look, you can't open your eyes without seeing Batman somewhere. This movie still at the time was a balm, a breath of fresh air, and it still holds up.
Which is very funny because you were not as enthusiastic about it at the time as I recall.
Well, I didn't think it was on the same level as the first Lego movie, and I still don't, but...
That is called growth, my friend. What you're seeing right now.
Yeah.
The film is delightful, and it's kind of a preview of, I think, a lot of the things that were kind of refined and elevated in what they did with Spider-Man just 1 year later, because it was just a crazy time, a lot of IP going on.
We're still living in that bullshit, man.
Yes, but I was telling Jake, like, I think we do have to remember just how crazy it was in this window, because we are actually going to be we'll skip to 2019, which was much better. At this time, when all this stuff was coming out, and maybe it's because we were in film school, whatever, but just the noise, like literally every day in the trades on Twitter what's happening in the next Marvel movie, what's happening in the next DC movie, what's happening in the next Star Wars movie. You know, it was nonstop. It was all we had to just, you know, keep up. When COVID hit, a lot of that stuff just got a lot quieter. And I think that has weirdly contributed to like everybody being like, is it over? Is it all over? You know?
The exhausting thing on Twitter now is like, we're so back. It's so over. Like literally a movie does well, movies are back. A movie does bad. It's the end of
like,
cinema.
We were so like accustomed to that level of constant noise that now that it's only kind of sporadic, it makes people nervous, you know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is funny though, because yeah, it's a funny phenomenon because Jan... Yeah, he pointed out, like, people on Twitter are like, oh, Furiosa bomb. People just don't go to the movie theaters anymore. And I'm like, Barbie and Oppenheimer, which, when you think about them, are
a courtroom drama made $1 billion.
Yeah,
yeah.
Barbie and Oppenheimer, when you think about it, both very similar to the Lego Batman movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In a lot of ways.
Yes. Anyway, so the movie's a banger. I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
You guys have mentioned it. Paul and Jenna mentioned this. This Joker, I don't like his teeth. I really don't think it's necessary for the Joker to have pointy teeth. He's the Joker.
Man, I'm with you. Yeah.
He's an evil clown. He has like the even smile. You don't need to make him look more monstrous. That feels kind of like a studio note and less of a creative choice for some reason.
Facts.
I don't get it. You don't really need it with this one. And yes, this Joker isn't as much of a wild card as some other Jokers in the past. Like, he's not farting or booping or doing magic pencil tricks. That's a little lacking in this Joker. However, the main thing about this Joker is that he is driven by his desire to cause chaos in Gotham so that Batman can stop him. And at the heart of the Joker, even though he doesn't like prance around to Prince,
they reference that.
They do. He is still fueled by that anarchy and chaos. He just goes about it differently than some of the other Jokers there. And Zach Galifianakis does give a genuinely good performance. He's not overplaying it. So I'm still going to give it an 8 out of 10. Yes, the movie, I know it's not as good as the Lego movie, but this is a Joker podcast. How is it as a Joker Batman movie? Like I said before, it is all about the relationship between Batman and the Joker. And
this is undeniably, you're right, Jake, this is undeniably a better Joker movie than the Lego movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the Lego movie doesn't acknowledge the Joker, but also, sidetrack, I don't think this needs to be as good as the Lego movie. This is like a perfect platonic ideal for a spin-off movie. And also, it's its own thing. I think it handles the common perception of Batman and finds a compelling arc for him. On top of that, it is really funny. It is great for kids. It's great for adults. The animation still looks great. Everybody's doing well performance-wise. Yeah, this is 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5 for me. Troy.
Yeah, Joker. So this Joker, I'm very torn. Because I think I called Jared Leto AI Joker last week. This Joker's not as far. This is more of checklist Joker. He's the leader of all of Batman's villains. He has a deep connection with Batman. He's the leader of all the villains everywhere, and he's smart and he's capable, but he's not very funny, and what bothers me is he's very predictable. He's like a save the cat Joker. Zach Galifianakis is not doing a bad job, but all his lines are all function. Batman is way wackier than him and way more broken than him, so he's kind of taking a lot of the Joker's thunder. I think the movie makes a lot of smart decisions of what they do with the Joker, but as a standalone Joker in the tradition of Jokers, I agree with Dunkey. He's kind of a poo Joker. It's kind of hard to rate, because I remember when I first ranked the Jokers back in 2019, 2018. Back when I ranked the Jokers, I think I put Zach Galifianakis higher than Cesar Romero. But the Cesar Romero comparison brings up a good point. Do you prefer a Joker who is filling the required lore, intellectual themes of Batman, but he's not very funny, he's not very unpredictable, and he's just kind of there? Or do you like a Joker who goes ha ha ho ho and is a silly little guy, but maybe he's not as important.
You know, I gotta say, your trolley problem scenario, very Joker-like. I like
yes.
that. That's really cool.
Now, one of them has to blow up.
Choose, hero! So that's a debate. At the time, I used to think the Joker lore was more important. Now, maybe if we're going on an individual Joker basis, I want a bit more of the hee-hee-ha-ha. So right now in my heart, I'm leaning towards a 6.5, a 7 out of 10 for this Joker. He's not the worst Joker. He intellectually gets the Joker, but we want a little bit more of that sauce, that atmosphere for the Joker, a little more riz. Because what the 2010s kind of lacked was it became this very checklist-oriented version of filmmaking where people just kind of focused on like making sure you understood all the themes. And the Joker, we lose the atmosphere, which kind of brings me into this movie.
Yeah, themes suck.
This movie's very blunt. This movie's very blunt about its themes. Subtext, I don't know her. She found dead in a ditch next to Commissioner Gordon on his South African safari.
It's a movie for children and man-children.
Okay, but even then, Dumbo is not like, hey, kids, you know, I've realized we all should accept each other, even if we have flying ears or something. Subtext used to be
That's
the thing
not
in
the theme of Dumbo. The theme of Dumbo is get drunk because it's cool and based and it'll give you superpowers.
And it's very fast-paced. Like, I think Chris McKay has said he ran into a lot of crunch on this. And yes, that probably did impact the screenplay. And, you know, it's a very much a snapshot of 2010's time where, like, intersectional feminism is gonna reform the police. And much like in Renfield, the cops are your friend.
I love that watching a bunch of Joker movies is making Troy, like, based. Like,
well, it's so interesting, right? Because, like, ever since The Dark Knight, every Joker movie now is about politics. And, like...
well, yeah, that's what we're here for, baby.
And, like, now we're seeing just snapshots of, like, the 2010s. One of the weirdest political decades ever where everything was political.
What if the founding fathers rapped?
What if the founding fathers rapped? Makes you think, doesn't it? What if I told you Alexander Hamilton was Puerto Rican? Did you think about it?
You say it, and it's the funniest thing ever. But this was a real thing that won the Pulitzer Prize. There will be a movie in the future.
Guys, I love Hamilton. I don't think you can make a live-action movie of Hamilton that's not just a filmed version of the stage play.
I totally agree. No, but I was going to say there will be a movie in the future of the Lego Batman movie. That will be a political Joker movie that will maybe win the Golden Lion at the Venice Film Fest.
I thought you were going to say there was going to be a Lego Hamilton.
Lego Hamilton.
Well, honestly, look, a Lego Hamilton would make a lot more sense than a live-action Hamilton.
Yes, I actually would agree.
And
we're building a
if
country.
You can prove that I never touched my balls.
Oh my God, I can see it all.
He's a master builder. He builds the Constitution.
He builds the United States.
I am a master builder. You're more like a masturbator, man.
Hey, man, keep ranting. We all know who's actually buying the play sets. Oh!
So what do you think of the Lego Batman?
The Lego Bullet. So I gave a lot of caveats, but just to say this movie rocks. I actually like this movie way more than the Lego movie, because the Lego movie is all about teamwork, BS. I don't care. It's very good, but like
that's about creativity. This movie's about Batman.
Yeah, no, actually that is correct. This movie is a character study compared to the other Lego movies, and this movie is the Batman movie I've wanted to see since I was a child. Like, he meets Robin, he has Batgirl, he fights the villains, he comes to terms with his parents' death.
He even fights Voldemort.
He even fights Voldemort and Dracula. This movie is funny, it's clever. I'm very proud to have technically... Oh God, should I even say that at this point? That I technically
it came out after you were there, right?
Yeah.
Or before you were there.
Well, while I was there, and we all got to clap, and like my supervisor got her name in the credits, and it was cool. It was cool. It was a high point. of my
we already
college
said
career.
that this video is being sponsored by Warner Discovery and
Mendocino Farms.
And Mendocino Farms, yeah.
Yeah, sure. You can take credit from it. Yeah, good job, Troy.
Yeah, I did it.
And remember, we can say anything because Warner Discovery will erase this entire episode for tax
Oh
purposes.
yeah, we can say whatever we want. Actually, the project I probably had the most influence on was Aladdin, but that's a story for another time.
When we do our Jafar podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not saying nothing about Aladdin legally.
You can just nod,
You're
Troy.
not snitching on that movie.
You can just nod or shake your head. We're not going to see you.
Everything, my unproblematic king, the 20. All right, I shouldn't even say that.
All right, final verdict.
All right, so the movie. Yes, the movie, it works as a Batman movie. It's phenomenally clever. Yes, it's blunt and over it, but it works. The two selfies of the two families. It's a very moving movie about an alpha male learning to embrace family again. It's very well done. I'm so proud of this movie. This is like one of my top 10, maybe even my top 5 DC Comics. Wait, no. What am I saying? No, it's not one of my top 5.
You'll like it. You'll like it a lot.
It's one of my top 10 DC Comics movies. Better than the Lego Movie. One of my favorite movies of 2017, which was one of the best, might be the last really great year for movies, was 2017. It should have been nominated for an Oscar. I'm deeply sorry. It's weirdly, I almost feel now flown under the radar when it's one of my favorite versions of Batman. Yeah, it holds up. I enjoy the hell out of it. Good job, everybody. You did it. You made the ultimate Batman movie. However, it's blunt. And they ruined the Joker, so 9 out of 10.
I almost don't even mind that it's blunt because it's still effective.
And speaking of blunt but effective, next week.
If you think that the Joker needs to be fixed, I got news for you. The Joker is perfect. It's society who needs to be fixed.
Yeah, because next week we are getting into probably the most Jokery movie, directed by the Joker, with Joker themes.
It's crazy. After all these years of beating around the bush, they finally came right out and said, why don't we just make a Joker movie?
And it was just The Hangover 4.
Exactly.
All right. See you guys for the big one.
See you next week.
Goodbye, folks.
See you for the king of comedy.
Goodbye, everyone.
Who doesn't pay his taxes?
Watch Taxi Driver, watch King Comedy, watch all the better movies. Don't watch
The Gospel According to St. Matthew.
Yeah, watch Salo and The Hangover 3. Goodbye.
I love Todd Phillips. Goodbye.